Welcome to Joyride with Expatriates. If you are new to this show, we bring every month a different person to talk about their expatriation process, challenges with adaptation, cultural differences, and everything you need to know to become a wiser multicultural leader. Hi, I'm Tati Fittipaldi. I'm a change management strategist and a certified professional coach. In this channel, I make videos to help multicultural professionals, global leaders, and expatriates become more productive, more effective, and improve their leadership both in business and in life. If that sounds for you, click that subscribe button now. In our show today, we are going to talk with Felipe Marinho. Felipe Marinho is the co-founder and CEO of Sofia, an international social impact startup. He has extensive experience in sales, business development, and general management, and has worked for companies like 7-Eleven, Luber, which is a Shell distributor, Raisin, which is a Shell joint venture, and for Shell itself. Felipe is a Columbia Business School alumnus. He is married and has 2 kids. So join me in welcoming Felipe Marinho to our show. Hi, Felipe. Welcome to our show. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Tatiana. Thank you for having me today.
Sure, it's my pleasure. Felipe, to warm up, how about you tell us where do you come from and what do you used to do before you moved to the US?
Yes, for sure. So my name is Felipe. I'm from Brazil. I am 43 years old. And so basically what happened is that I worked all my life in Brazil in the same company for Shell Oil. So I used to work in the retail. That's the part of Shell Oil that works with the gas stations and lubricants. So I used to work in sales, in marketing, real estate, business development. And I worked with Shell Oil for about 15 years, from like 2000 to 2015. And then one of my biggest dreams was to live abroad and to work abroad. And it was interesting because my wife, at the beginning, she didn't want to move from Brazil to another country. But as we had this kind of shared goal, and she had the opportunity to move faster than me at Shell, so when she told me, oh, there's opportunity to live in the US, what do you think? I said, I don't need to think. I'm already inside the airplane. Let's go. So that's why I'm here.
That's a very interesting story, Felipe. That's so basically your wife has had the opportunity and you
Yes.
followed her. So
Yes.
tell me how was this process of having to give up certain things that you had in Brazil, like your career or anything, and then follow her and adapt in a new country? Tell me how this process was.
Yeah. So for me, when I worked at Shell, I loved to work in the company. So I was there for 15 years. And so my one of my biggest goals was, as I said, to move abroad for Shell Oil. And I participated in some processes like to live either in England, because the biggest office of Shell Oil is in London. And another opportunity was to come to the US, but the office of Shell Oil in the US is much more in Houston, where the headquarters is there. So I applied for some positions. It didn't work out. And when my wife said that they had the opportunity, it was a very good position for her and everything, I had this dream before. Oh, I want to live abroad. So I understand that for now, I have to give up of my job, of my career here. It's going to be a completely different adaptation to a new culture, to a new place and everything. But I think that the outcome of this move would be much better for all of us, for my wife, for me, for my daughters, that they would have this opportunity to grow. I have two daughters. Right now they are 7 and 10 years old. When we moved here, the youngest one was 2 years old, and the oldest was 5. So as we live here for 5 years, so the youngest one, she grew from 2 to 7 years old, and the youngest from 5 to 10. So to give them this opportunity to grow here in the US, super education, a super culture, to learn a new language for them. So I think that's the outcome for all our family. I think that it would be much better than staying where I was. So of course, at Shell I had a position that I earned a lot of money, I was important and everything, but I think that thinking as a personal move, I think it will be better for the family. So that's why I decided to come. But of course, it's tough, this decision to give up.
I can imagine. And Felipe, let me before we even move on, let me say how much I admire your courage and also your strength, because you not only gave up thinking about you know, your whole family, you also supported your wife in her career, you thought about your kids, so you had a bigger vision and you put themselves first, even, you know, before yourself. So I just wanted to commend you, take this time to acknowledge you and your strength and your courage.
Thank you, Tatiana.
So this is quite interesting. So you came here, you know, many things might have happened during your stay here, and suddenly, you know, a bird told me about this project called Sofia. So I just wanted to hear more about it. So tell me about your project.
Yeah. So let me start from the beginning, from what I said about the adaptation. So for me, what happened, I was very active at Shell, in a sense of I had to travel a lot throughout Brazil, to different states, different cities and everything. And in Brazil, we had a huge support with us, in a sense of my family, my wife's family, we had friends. So when you move to a new country, it's basically your family. So it was my wife and I, my two daughters, and everything that you had like a support structure in the past, you don't have anymore. So I'm just saying this because I had to be much more involved with my family, in a sense of who's going to pick up the daughters and who's going to drop off at school, who's going to cook, who is going to clean the bathroom, who is going to pay the bills, who is going to all the school activities and so on. So as Cecilia, my wife, then when we traveled here, she was the one who was like, okay, Felipe, I'm the one who is earning money, who is supporting the family. So you have to change completely your role, in a sense of you had to be kind of free to do everything regarding the family, because if we both have this super active life in Brazil, it's not going to work. So I'm just saying this because when I moved here, what was my first idea? I had a dream to move to another country and also to do an MBA here. And when I went to some schools here, just to understand how the school were and the programs and everything, I went to Columbia Business School, I went to Wharton, I went to New York University. And then I thought, wow, it's going to be 2 years dedication at least, to say the least. And it's going to be an investment of like $200,000. So this is crazy. I'm not going to do that. So, but what I decided to do, I decided to do a program at Columbia Business School that it's called Advanced Management Program, that it was like 1 month. that had a focus in strategy and leadership. And so I did that. So it was very interesting, and it was the first experience of having this kind of work environment in the US, have academic background with me to understand how the culture works and the behaviors and the people and so on. And I'm talking about this story because after Columbia Business School, I had access, as I became an alumni, I had access to the Career Center. And I went to the Career Center, and then I said, guys, I need a job. I want to work, but it doesn't have to be something that I travel a lot. I need to support my family, be here, and so on. And then they said, oh, you need to apply for, we have a lot of positions here, but what you should do is that you should contact some of the alumni here, because everyone here in the US, they're much more open than in Brazil in a sense of, if you want to get a job, send a message to the guy, have a coffee with him. If he doesn't help you, he's going to help to know someone who's going to help you. Anyway, through the Columbia alumni, I got a job at 7-Eleven. And at 7-Eleven, it was a job similar to what I had in Brazil in a sense of to work with convenience stores, with gas stations, to be a manager of some convenience stores, a small sales team. And I worked with them for 6 months. I didn't adapt to the company. And then when I left the company, I said, wow, okay, I had my first corporate experience in Brazil, in the US. But what if I use my time to create a company here, to be an entrepreneur? Because in Brazil, Tatiana, I worked for Shell Oil for 15 years in Brazil, but I had a small experience that I had a restaurant in São Paulo for 3 years. And it was like a dream in a sense of create the restaurant, create the products, to do the advertising, to have my own company. And it didn't work out, the restaurant. After 3 years, I had to close the business. I had to shut down the business because there was a huge economic crisis at that time in 2006. And also, there was a violence crisis in São Paulo with the organized crime and so on. So our revenue dropped more than like 80%. So we decided to shut down the restaurant. But it's interesting because this entrepreneurship dream didn't sleep. It's like a bear inside me that was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa." This bear was alive. "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa." And I said, okay, so I will stay at Shell, try to grow, try to keep with my dream of moving abroad. But this dream of entrepreneurship was still there. So when I came here, it was interesting because I was talking to a professor in the US, at the Columbia, and he said, Felipe, you have to use this moment to do like a recharge, and create a new Felipe. So everything that you had in the past that you didn't do, use this moment to do it. So I said, okay, why do I want to really go to another company to send resumes, go to LinkedIn, to go after the Columbia alumni again? Why don't I create a job? And thinking about this, it was interesting because when I came with my wife and my daughters, there was a program for the expats, husbands or wives, when we arrived here. Oh, you're going to have a coach to help you with your resume, to help you with your LinkedIn profile and so on. And it was interesting in a sense because we had some kind of support groups that we went through some meetings. We met a lot of people. And I became friends with some Brazilians that they moved also from Brazil to here for Bayer, but from people from different countries like Venezuela, from Turkey, from France, from Belgium, because I have the privilege to live here in New Jersey. And when I say privilege, because there are a lot of pharmaceutical companies here in New Jersey. And there are a lot of expats in New Jersey. So it's a much more global state, a multicultural state. So it's not the same experience of moving to the countryside of the US, only with the big farms, with the countryside people, much more American people, not so globalized. So I have this privilege of mixing with multicultural people. And I'm telling this because I made some friends, new friends, and I started also to do a lot of volunteer work because I said, why don't I go to do volunteer work in a sense of to get new skills, to meet new people, and also to do good for the society and the community and everything. And so I'm telling a big story, and then I'm going to zoom at Sofia. That's the name of the project that became a company that I'm working right now. That I started to do a lot of volunteer work in homeless shelters in New York City and in New Jersey. And one of the days I was with some friends, and we went there to cook. So we went there, we cooked, we donated money, we donated time, food. But when we left, we were with that sense of, wow, we're going to enter our cars, drive home, but the people are still living in the homeless shelter. And then we thought, why don't we create an opportunity to employ them and to generate revenue with a product or a service that can be global. And then one of my current partners, Thiago, who is from Brazil as well, he said, why don't we create an online platform to teach English? Because these people here who are homeless in these shelters, they lost everything. They live in a shelter, but they are American, they speak English. And we train them, and then we create this platform that we start with Brazil because we are Brazilians, and then if it works, let's spread this and launch in different countries in the world. So this was like the basic foundation of our platform. And so we started with a pilot, with a homeless shelter in the Bronx in New York City, with 5 tutors. This was like October 2017. And then at that time, we were doing online classes, only individual classes. But in a period of like 2 months, in this small pilot, we gave around 400 classes. And then we said, wow, this makes sense. There's a demand for that. So since 2017, so 2018, 2019, and now we are in 2020, we are growing the number of students. So we started with like 15 students, and then we went to 100, we went to 1,000, and the current number right now is 5,200 students we have. And now my partners, what happened as well is that I have 5 partners, and we are a super multicultural company because I am Brazilian. We have another partner from Brazil, Thiago. We have a partner from Venezuela, Julio. We have a partner from Mexico, Rafael. And we have a partner from the US, Mark. So we have these 5 partners. So we are in 5. But the only full-time worker as a partner and employee, let's say this way, it's me. I'm only one working. The other 4, they have other jobs. They work in different places. I gave them, each of them, they have small tasks. So they do some work for Sofia. They invested money at us as well. But the only one who's working full-time, it's me. That's right. I was the COO, the operation officer. Right now, I became the COO and the CEO. But the operation right now, we are spread out in 2 countries. We have our teachers that they live here in the US. Most of them, they left shelters and now they received houses, so they live in houses. So right now we have 50 tutors, 50, that they work and live here in the US. Either in the state of New Jersey or New York. And we have around 20 employees in Brazil. So these 20 employees in Brazil, they are divided in different areas as well, as operations, as sales, marketing, finance. So we have 20 employees in Brazil, and we have these 50 tutors who are working online with us right now. So this is how we are right now. So currently we have more than 5,000 students, and we have 20 employees in Brazil and 50 here in the US with the tutors. So this is as we are now. So what started as like a pilot, as a test, as something social / volunteer, it's becoming more and more as a business. And now even the positioning, we had to change, because in the past it was like, oh, we're starving, help us, have the classes with us, we're going to die, we're social, help us. And right now we are changing the positioning to be something like, we're the best English platform in the world, because we have English teachers, we have the best content, we have the best user experience. So we are better than competitor A, B, C, D, E. So join us now. So this is much more the approach that we have. And this is a kind of a learning process, in a sense of changing the customer, changing the positioning, changing the product. So it's a super adaptation process that we are facing right now.
Wow, that's very interesting story, Felipe. And I think my biggest takeaway here is, if you move to a different country, you can reinvent yourself. You don't have to use the traditional models. You don't have to, stick to old concepts. You can do whatever. The sky is the limit, and we should explore and take some risks, and we will be rewarded by the hard work. So I'm super excited about this. So let's tell me a little bit about cultural change. So what was when you came here to the US, was one cultural change that made you have to change your mindset?
Yes, this is a very interesting question. I think that, for example, in Brazil, the people are much more open. It's interesting because after 1 minute, you think that you know that person for 10 years. The person talks about their life, their soccer team, where they were born, their graduation and everything. So they're much more open. So you become a personal connection. But on the other hand, the professional relationship, sometimes you meet a person, you have a 1 hour conversation about personal things, but you don't have this professional approach in a sense, okay, how can I help Tatiana? Tatiana can help me. Oh, okay, she's selling socks, I sell tennis shoes. Why don't we do a partnership where for every pair of tennis shoes that I sell, I will have one socks made for me by Tatiana. So I think that this gets lost in Brazil. I think that this is something that we need to evolve. And in the US, it's completely the opposite. When you meet someone, and I had to adapt, they are super straightforward. They are here and say, good morning, good morning. Why you came here? I came here to buy this black polo shirt. Black polo shirts, yes. Sorry, we don't sell polo shirts here. Okay, but do you have black shirts? I also don't have black shirts. Okay. So, but my friend, you came here to buy polo shirts and black shirts. We don't have both. Have a great day. The door is over there. Bye. Oh, I'm from Brazil. I have just moved. Let's talk. Why don't we become friends? My friend. I don't have friends. I don't want to be a friend. You came here for the polo shirt, for the black shirt. I don't have both, and I don't want to have a friend. So let me say again, the door is over there. Go. Bye. So this kind of approach that at the beginning was kind of shock for me, said, wow, everyone is super straightforward. But it works very nice. And I'm loving this. And even I think that in the last 5 years, even when I have my relationship with my friends and family in Brazil, I was talking even with my mother last week, and she said, Felipe, I think that you're becoming very straightforward because I think that here I think that the people are more open for business opportunities in a sense. Like, as I said, I have the tennis shoes and you have the socks. Why you're here, Felipe? I have tennis shoes, you have the socks. Why don't we create a product that it has my black tennis shoes with your red socks? Great. We also, and then the person on the other side said, yes, Red Sox, just like the Boston baseball team. Let's create the Red Sox campaign. Let's hug each other. I charge you 5, you charge 55. Let's sell a combo for 60. Let's start the production next week. Let's do the ads this way. Pa, 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 pa. I have these Instagram posts. You have yours. We created a business in 5 minutes. Let's go. Oh, by the way, I have just moved to Brazil and everything. So after you solved that thing of the business aspect, sometimes the person after 5 conversations start to open something. Oh, I have a daughter. Wow, he told me after 5 meetings that he has a daughter. It's a good sign. After more 5 meetings, oh, I like the Yankees. And what about you? No, I don't like the Yankees. I like the New York Mets. Oh, so the person starts to open a little bit, but it's not like in Brazil that's all open, but for the business sense, you can't
Practical.
tract. How can I get opportunities? Like Tatiana. Tatiana is the owner of a online platform like Zoom. If I am a online platform education, why don't I get a partnership with Tatiana to help me with Zoom, right? Something like this. So I like this approach. I think that, to summarize, I think that this direct approach, it's something that I had to adapt. And just a quick joke. In Brazil, I used to say, hello, how are you? And do like this in the shoulder, like, hello, how are you? And here, the first time that I did this, the guy was like, he's touching me. I said, wow, yes, I should not do that. So this is something that I had to, I can't touch too much, hug too much. It's like, you need to have this safe space, like one arm. Hello, how are you? And very far and so on. So this is a cultural adaptation that I had to do.
That's so interesting, Felipe. That story is very interesting, and indeed, a lot of Brazilians report this as being indeed one of their biggest challenges. So tell me, you talked about some of these cultural differences and some of the things that you had to adapt. What do you think people have to have here when they go to a different country, to live in a different country? What kinds of skills people have to have?
I think that the main important skill is to have this flexibility in a sense of, it's interesting in a sense because, as for example, English is not our native language, we need to use more the ears, listen, process, and then speak. And honestly, I think that this is an advantage in a sense that you need to understand what's going on right now, what's happening in every place that you are, to try to read the signs. Oh, should I wear? Why? For a simple example as well. I went to the beach, and the type of clothes that we use at the beach in Brazil are completely different here. So when I went, I had like a small shorts at the beach. And then when I went at the beach, the guy said, my friend, no one uses these swing shorts here. These are for like swimming pools, my friend, not for beaches, you know? But I'm just saying this simple example because you need to read between the lines of what's happening. Why is everyone using that kind of shorts but not that short? Why everyone is carrying that type of bag and not that type? why should I talk not that loud, but lower if everyone is speaking lower? So why I can't hug everyone? I need to ask permission. Hi, Tatiana. Can I give you a hug? When the first person told me that, I said, this is crazy. Why the person needs to have permission to give me a hug? But all of this reading between the lines and understanding the culture is the way that the people were formed and built so far. So you are the one who's arriving and needs to adapt to their culture. Of course, you are in your house, you speak Portuguese, so I speak Portuguese with my daughters, with my wife, but outside you need to be you need to have this adaptability in a sense of understanding everything that's happening in the culture regarding the habits, the culture, the behavior, the tone, how are the relationships. Everything is more professional, is more straightforward. You don't have to have feelings about the guy, because the guy, you say, like, for example, in Brazil, we negotiate everything. Oh, how much is this water? Oh, this water is $5. Okay. If I buy two, $10. No. I ask again, my friend. Two. I don't want to pay 10. I want to pay 8. My friend, you want to pay 8? Yes. Go to that store, not here. Because here, 1 is 5, 2 is 10. No, but 2. No. I'll say that again. Go to that store. You don't need to buy here. So it's not that he's unpolite or he's not educated. And it's not the guy from only this store. All the stores are here. So it's part of the behavior, the culture. So it's like this. You have to adapt. You have to be open. And I just finished this part of this question that I think that on the other hand, I think that when you move with your family, this adaptation process is for everyone, for you, for your wife or husband, your daughters. And I think that honestly, this challenge either unites everyone and makes everyone stronger. That fortunately, this is what's happening with my family. I think that our relationship as a family, it's stronger and we are much more together right now than we were in Brazil. Or either breaks. The husband hates the wife. The daughters, they hate, they want to go back to Brazil or to the country that they came from. So I think that I don't think that it's a binary situation. Either it glues everyone, they get stronger and bigger. And I will say that again. Fortunately, we are in this exponential loop of growing as a family, or either it's the opposite as well. It's an exponential loop of decreasing and breaking. No, I hate you. I thought that moving to another country it would make us stronger and together, but it's the opposite. So I think that's it.
Wow, that's an interesting take. Yes. So maybe there's the reason why you're such a strong with your family is actually because all of you worked very hard together to make the adaptation, and that's why it's working so well for everyone. Tell me something, Felipe. I'm very curious to know what kind of support groups did you have during your, since the beginning, since you came and up to now, what kind of support groups did you build for yourself to help you? You mentioned in the beginning of the interview that in Brazil you had the support, and when you came here, you suddenly saw that you didn't have as much support. So tell me, what did you came up with to help you in the support area?
Yes, so what we have here is, so first of all, I was fortunate as well because as part of the relocation package of my wife, we had those meetings like this expats, wives, husband groups. So we started this way. Besides that, it was interesting because where my wife works, they also had a lot of expats from different countries and from Brazil. So we started to connect with them, like, oh, someone is doing a barbecue, let's go to their house. Oh, this person has just moved as well from Brazil or from Venezuela or from Colombia, and he has a wife who has just arrived, or he has a husband who has just arrived. Why don't you meet them to give some hints of the adaptation and so on? So, as I said before, I think that we are fortunate in a sense that New Jersey is a state that has a lot of expats here. And as someone gave up their family and friends from their original country, and now everyone is like by themselves, I think that it's kind of easier to create these bonding groups, either only Brazilians or either only expats or either foreigners. But I think that it was interesting in this sense that we start to share everything, not only professional achievements. Oh, I got a job working this, I got a job doing that, I was promoted and so on, but also practical and personal things like, oh, where did you open your bank account? Oh, which type of credit card do you have? Oh, have you ever been to a Costco, the place that you can buy in bulks and have discounts? Oh, what is that? Can you explain? Oh, you need to have this membership and na. So I think that these kind of supporting groups are very interesting. And then we created like Facebook groups, and then it evolved in WhatsApp groups. And oh, it's the final of the Champions League. Why don't we go to the house of someone to watch the games? You bring the food, you bring the barbecue, and so on. So I think that these support groups are super important to keep this balance. Not only because, of course, you are super connected with your family, which is important, but for the husband and for the wife, these supporting groups are super important. And as I said, you can either look for groups of the same language, like Brazilians, or in your profession. Oh, okay, so I'm a project manager, I'm trying to relate with the project manager groups, or expats, for example, in a general way. Or in a sense, and another thing that it's very interesting that I also did, there are a lot of meetup groups, and even the website meetups. And when you go to the meetups, it's interesting because they have different types of interests. And you say there, meetups for entrepreneurship in online education. And then they say, we're going to meet on that certain date, certain time. You go there. And it's interesting because the people, and this is very interesting, when you go, I went to maybe 10 or 15, maybe, yes, I went to around 15 different meetups. And the people are super open to talk. And this is a very interesting thing that we need to adapt as Brazilian, because everyone has a speech. Hi, good morning. My name is Tatiana. I'm a coach. I do this and this and this and this and this and this. What about you? And then you say, wow, I didn't create this before. I need to create something right now to talk to this guy. So you need to be kind of prepared how you're going to introduce yourself and what is your objective here, because everyone is super objective. For example, I went to a meeting with the Columbia Business School's alumni that it was something like this. The guy said, hi, my name is John, tarara, tarara. I used to work for JP Morgan as a auditor, and I'm here because I want to see if I have some connection with anyone here to work in another bank. I said, great. What about you? My name is Felipe, I have Sofia, I have a platform on online education. The guy said, Felipe, just to be clear, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Today or never. Because my goal today is to get a job in a bank. You can help me anything at all. So it was nice to meet you. Have a nice life and bye. And it's interesting because after that, I said, wow, this guy is super straightforward. This was amazing. Because I don't want to say hi to this guy anymore as well. But I'm just saying that these kind of groups that you share interests, they are interesting to know new people who, as I said, they have shared interests as you. And you can help each other in a personal way or in a professional way.
That's very interesting, and it is an interesting tip. So you're saying that you know, when you go and meet new people, make sure you have your elevator speech ready because you
Yes.
will need it.
Yes, no, right away. What's your name? My name is Tatiana. What you do? Brrrr. You need to have like those 1 minute, 2 minutes ready to say.
And Felipe,
And,
do you have any other tips to our audience in terms of, you know, getting adapted? Do you have any tips that you want to share with them?
I think that what I say that I think that it's super interesting is basically what I said, in a sense that every time that you're going not only for an interview but to meet someone or any place, it's super important to do like your previous research, in a sense of uh, I'm going to do an interview with Tatiana because she's the biggest coffee producer. So do a research about her company, what you do, it's related to her, because there is this famous line here in the US that it's what is
In
in
it
it
for
for me,
you.
in a sense of, okay, so I'm here, I can give this to Tatiana, Tatiana can give this to me. But if I only go there and ask, I want to receive a lot from Tatiana, but I can give her anything, uh, this relationship is not going to work. So you and neither, and the right thing to do, it would be even the opposite. When you meet someone, you should have something related to the other person that you could go for free, in a sense of, I create water, I'll give you right away 10 bottles. So why? I have this new company, I need to share. The only thing that I ask you is, give me your perception about this, and if you can give me a post saying what you think about the water, I would appreciate. But I'm saying, in a sense, that do your research, think about what you can offer to the other person, think about what is your goal with that conversation, in a sense of, I'm going to sell someone. No, I'm here because I want to be invited to her swimming pool. I saw that that guy has a super swimming pool, and I don't have a swimming pool in my house, but I want to go there. So I need to find a way to go to his swimming pool. So I'm just saying a crazy example right now, but in a sense of, what is the outcome to be a successful meeting? If I go to the swimming pool, if I sell 100, if I get a job, if I know, the meaning is that I want to have a second meeting, right? Because sometimes uh, you don't, the most important is that that you keep building this relationship with the person. It's not now, but maybe after 5 conversations, 10 conversations, that can go to his swimming pool, in a sense, right? So
So Felipe,
I think that you have to be open for that.
it sounds like what you're saying is, if you come from a culture that thinks that you can kind of wing it, that's not gonna cut it. If you go to a company like in the US, who people are very straightforward. So it's very important that you research what type of approach people have, and then use the same approach to meet people, do business, live the daily life. So that's an awesome tip, Felipe. That's I really love this tip. Thank you so much for sharing. So we are coming very close to the end of our session today,
Mm-hmm,
and I
mm-hmm,
want to make a proposal for you.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
As I mentioned to you before our interview, we are having this new deck of cards to help people with locus of control, with a self-improvement. And I
mm-hmm,
wanted to share one card with you,
mm-hmm.
and you read the card. Let me know what comes to your mind in terms of what the card is saying and your adaptation process here in the US. How does that sound?
Okay, sounds like a plan. Let's go.
Okay, so I am going to share my screen with you
Mm-hmm.
right now.
Yes.
So this is the back of the card. So as I said, it's a card to help you, you know, to master your own mind. And this is the card.
Woohoo! I like this one. This is completely related to me. I decide about my level of resilience. I am in control of my life. Strength comes to me in times of need and fuels my discipline to strive. Yes. I'm laughing because I think that when you move to another country, I think that you always can stay thinking about what you lost, right? I lost my family, I lost my friends, I lost my job. I used to earn money, now I don't earn money. Oh, I didn't like to cook. In the past, I didn't cook, now I cook. So you can thinking about this, what you lost, and keep in that negative loop of you don't want to adapt and everything. And what I understand and what I mean about I understand about the word resilience is this kind of band that you zzz, zzz, and resilience is your capacity and your ability to adapt, to evolve, and try to get the opportunities that are in front of you and make it the best possible way. Okay, I lost my job, but now I'm much more connected with my daughters, with their education, and in an important age as they are growing up. So what I gained, what I won is much bigger than what I lost. So I need to adapt. I didn't have to cook before. Now I have to cook, for example. I didn't go to the school presentations before of my daughters. Now I have to go, and I love. And when they don't have the presentations, I'm concerned. So I think that the resilience, I think that it's completely something that you control. You choose to have it. You choose to adapt. I think that you choose to have this positivity on you. And if you have the right mindset, everything will work out. Starts with the mind. And then if you put your mind and you work on it, it's going to work. Because Sofia, what we have right now, it's completely proof. Because when you start to talk about an online platform where homeless people would give classes, I would say that 90% of the people, when we spoke about this idea, they said, this is crazy. It's not going to work. You are so intelligent, Felipe. You speak very well. Honestly, get a job, Felipe. Go to a big corporation again. Go to work for Shell or another. You're going to waste your time, your money, your life, and everything. So you have to be resilient because you're going to face a lot of adversity professionally and in both ways, professionally and personally, especially when you move to another country. In your home country, you already face a lot of problems. Imagine when you go to a different country. And the only thing that I'd like to finish is, I would say, kind of tips or hints. One is, it's super important to have the support of your wife or husband to everything that you are going to do. Either you are going to be an entrepreneur or you are going to be open to go to a new company or a new country or whatever you're doing. You have to have this support of your husband. This is super important. The second thing is you need to have a lot of self-assessment. And you have to be open to recognize, in my case, I am super bad in finance. So I need to have a super finance director with us to help me see things that I can't see and I can process. So you need to be open. Okay, if I don't speak English very well, how can I improve my English skills in a sense to persuade the other person to work for me and to do what I need the other person to do, right? And to sell my idea in my case. So I think that this self-assessment, to be humble in a sense of what are your weaknesses and what you need to improve. And the third one is a sense to seek for help, in a sense that I see that I am not good in finance. What can I do? Can I, if I do a course at Columbia Business School, uh, the outcome is that I'm going to be a super finance guy? No, it's not, Felipe, because you don't like finance. Don't waste your time. Okay, so why don't I hire something, get a partner who loves the numbers and can be my finance uh, right arm that's going to cover my blind spot, right? So I think that's this husband support or wife. Do the self-assessment. And the third one, that is this seek for help to cover or these blind spots that you have are super important.
Wow, these are fabulous tips, Felipe. I love them. I really love them. I thank you so much for being so candid, so frank about all the things that you experienced and the stories that you shared. They are so inspiring. I think your initiative, the Sofia initiative, is also very inspiring. So I just want to take this moment to thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing this stories, these tips, everything. I'm really glad. Thank you so much, Felipe.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you, Tatiana.
Thank
Thank you,
thank
everyone.
you,
Bye-bye.
Felipe. Thank you so much for joining our show today. If you like this, click the subscribe button now and stay tuned for more interviews, reviews, tips, and information in this channel.